Good day, everyone. I'm the Kodrizak once again, your host for Lana Talks podcast conversation. Today, I have with me um, Mr. Issa Mutolib Ayobami, popularly known as Megabyte. I think in Nigeria political terrain, when you talk about the youth constituency, I think everybody has heard the name Megabyte before. But majorly, what we want to talk about is the highs and the lows of the Otuge revolution. I think, I don't want to go into the background of the Otuge. The Otuge came in 2018, 2019, and swept away a long, deeply rooted dynasty. And here we are again. But I have the belief here that there are sides, different sides to the Otuge struggle. And as some people will say it, they call it, I think they call it sentiment or something. They call it, there's a word, one of the
Conspiracy.
political headers. No, I don't, I want to, no, I don't want to call it conspiracy. Like different people brought their strength together and one way or the other, those people cannot be the governor. One of the different peoples had to be the governor. Somebody has become the governor, but the question is, the person that became the governor has been running the governor, the governance and the government as himself, and his own sentiment alone. That is being the grounds of some people at some other time. But if you check all the things, you see some people are going back, some people are going out. There's been fights, dirty fights, some people's property has been destroyed. But at somebody, I know that at that point, I'm very sorry, you were not old enough to become a governor in 2019. Were
Of
you?
course not.
Which means you were not going to be the governor.
Exactly.
And you threw your heart in the race. You were there up and down. Like I know a lot of intimidations of people experienced, but some people still stood their ground. And I don't think somebody promised you a commissioner or
At
one
all.
controller, but you did it anyways. But here we are, 6 years down the line. Let's talk about governance and politics in different tastes. What would you see as the gain, and what would you say were the shortcomings of the Otoge struggle?
Hmm. This is actually a very difficult question, if one were to be objective. But if it was from a biased point of view, it is a very straightforward answer. You just look at, okay, what has favored me and what hasn't favored me, and you just give a pinpoint answer. But Otoge was basically interest in quote. Politics is about interest anyway. So, but everyone with their own different interests. There were those whose interest was fueled by being tired of the way governance was run in the states. There were those whose interest was about hijacking power, politics of appointments, and what have you, contracts, and the rest. And there were those whose interests were just fueled by hatred. Why must it be so person? Why must it not be us?
Okay.
So all these interests came together,
It's just like you
melted.
having a common enemy, you just make yourself friends with that.
Exactly. So it was different, the melting together of these interests and more that fueled the Otoge victory. Now, after the victory, some just winning some of they achieved their interest. Okay, we've divided at least. That is all. They don't care about appointment, they don't care about contract, they are fulfilled.
Okay.
Whereas some took it further as maybe politicians. Okay, we've won. What next? Okay, commissioners will be appointed, advisors will be appointed, contracts will be given out. Okay, they started the struggle and the hustle. Some got it, some felt disappointed. But we said the Ramon was running or is because he's still the governor. He's running a one-man show. It all depends on what you call a one-man show.
I mean, that is the belief of some people that sentiment, all different people. I think, okay, let me mention there are the Baba Akoguns, the Barracks, the Professor sentiment. the other people, the Bimi Saraki was there. Some people will say he was there with the body, but not with the soul. I don't know. All the people, the Gobiri was there, the Gobiri sentiment, and but you see that nobody could say anything that the governor would do, or it is not, and it has been it's maybe at some point it stopped becoming
Maybe,
the auto get thing. It became the governor's thing at one point or the other. Don't you believe it became the governor's thing?
of course, I think we can say the governor wasn't a good team player or isn't a good team
Okay,
player with other Otoge
actors.
gladiators. Because if you looked at the number of people, the stakeholders that participated, and the number of people that left at the point, you'll see that there is a lot of disparity. But at the
Because
end of the
what
day,
I
these
want
people, some of these people still
to
came
bring
back.
out to you.
So that boils back to what I said, that it's all about interest.
Okay,
Interest rules the game.
okay. But the thing is, some people. So I have to believe that if there are 10 people sitting in a room and then one person is appointed as the leader, and at some point out of the 10 people, 7 people start going against the leader and two are standing with him, would you say that the number is too huge? Because it felt like, I think, I mean, at that point Otoge, I mean, the OPC, the Otoge struggle had about 7 to 9 gubernatorial aspirants.
11 or 12. Yeah. Yeah.
But at some point, almost all of them disappeared from his bank, and then we had like maybe merely three with him, and others were gone. The people went to other parties, some people went on political sabbatical. But you would say that the numbers were huge, don't you think? I mean, if I think if you feel some people, I'm a fan of the saying that says if you always feel everyone is the problem, then you have to check yourself.
Personally, I was also, I can't call myself an Otoge gladiator anyway. But I
Well,
was,
you are a player.
but I was a contributor. So, and personally, I don't buy the idea of winner take all.
Okay.
And I do tell people that if you say everybody has a problem, then you should also check yourself. Then there's also something definitely that is wrong with you. But at the same time, politics is a game that is not fair,
Okay.
just like war. And they say all is fair in war
Yeah.
and in love.
Yes, yes.
So politics is something of sorts. So everybody has their own different way of playing politics. Maybe, I don't know the mind of Abdullah Razak, maybe his own system of playing politics is to alienate everybody that he believes can be a future challenge to him. That may be his tactics. Somebody else may believe, okay, let me bring these people closer, let's work together to become a state. So everybody has their own. So I can't criticize him if I'm to be objective on that his own method.
Okay.
But as a figure, as a contributor, definitely I was not happy
Okay.
with it.
You as a figure, you said something. Some people left and at some point went back to the governor's side. Don't you think interest has overridden those people? And this 2027 coming, many people I would say do not have their integrity intact anymore. And when politics comes, you have to talk to people. This is a democracy. Do you think Otoge can still come up with that one voice to present one person that will be supreme and almightily accepted by all?
I think Otogo has elapsed his usefulness.
Okay.
So when we are going to 2027, Otoge will not be at the forefront of discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a phase, and that phase has passed already. And that phase will come.
Oh,
So the discussion will never, quote me, will never be centered around Otoge. It will be centered around another political play.
okay.
So what it will be, nobody knows
Okay.
for now. But when you talk about maybe some people have lost their integrity, does integrity really matters in our politics?
Okay. Well, I want to say this. Otoge, I would say that one of the I was not alive during the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, but I saw that during the revolution. There were people that put their sweat and blood on line. You see the barbarics, See Baba Alajagusi, may he so rest in peace.
Amen.
See uh, Baba Kogun. They were on radio almost every day from different stations. These guys were the one that were shouting. These were the voices people were hearing. Don't you think these guys are now being they've been reduced to mere machineries? Like some people would have thought that maybe these guys would have been the ones that will run maybe not directly, but maybe they will have takes. But all those things they did because I don't think anybody can deny the contribution of these three men.
Actually, nobody can deny the contribution of everybody that participated in Otoge. But some were lucky to be at the forefront more than others,
Okay.
maybe on the basis of age, exposure, financial power, and other things.
Okay.
But as I said, it's not about interest. Aladi Yakinalaya Gusimi sold us in perfect peace. He was rewarded because he was the House of Rep member for 4 years
Yes.
before his death. Babarex was not rewarded in the actual form of, let's say, appointment or elective position.
But there are whispers around him being rewarded too.
Exactly. The same thing as Chief Yola,
Available.
who after Otoge, after we finished, was on the other side with the governor, went back again, left again, went back again, left again. So it all boils down to interest. If I'm not satisfied with the status quo, I can decide to leave. So, but we all have different aims and objectives for doing what we are doing. Some want good governance, but an average politician is not even concerned about good governance. An average politician is concerned about what do I get from the table. So once they are not able to get something on the table, all hell can let loose.
But I feel bad for people that put their youth, their youthness on the line for political calculations. And then when the things pans out, you realize what is being presented to the public, the criticisms that were being made is not really the business. The real business is what comes out to the politicians. How do you feel? Because I can feel the pain of some people that did altogether for the betterment of the state. But today we now realize that it is almost the same old story. Like good governance. But when you look at it deeply, you see that Saraki was throwing tickets around to people he loves. But you will not disagree that the governor is not far off throwing tickets around to people if who's good for it. It's just the same eggs in different baskets. So, how do you feel about that? Don't you want to see a really cerebral democratic society where people play politics and do not have to bow to anybody. They have to all you need is just your integrity and your fitness, and people will vote for you. We have this culture in our environment today where people only voted for you because of somebody that brought in. How do you even get the ticket in the first place? Somebody have to stand for you. And the person that stood for you, the moment you start turning around, it didn't start today. You know what happened with Lam Additional, you know what happened with Rashid Ladoja, you know what happened with all the people, you know what happened with Muhammad Lawal when he was the governor and then fell out with his godfather. Everybody is now with the culture. Before they go to the seat of the governor, they say we don't want to do this, we want an independent governor. And when they're going, you see that they still want to uh, give you an houseboy that will
Be a
listen to them.
successor. Actually, what you are saying is an utopia dream. Don't let me say it will never happen. But let me say it may.
When you say it's an utopia dream, I understand. I understand Greek mythology to some extent. I know when the Greek people call something utopian dream, it means it may never. It's a very thin line of not coming to life. Because are you saying that we will never have a politics where if you want to be a counselor, you go to your people, talk to them, they will vote for you?
Like I said, don't let me say it will, because I'm not God. But as I said, it may never happen. It may happen in some instances, in some cases, in small proportions. Maybe we have 193 watts in Kwara, maybe 2 or 3 watts. But in majority of the places, interest will always come to play. Godfatherism, money, and other things, other promoter things. So that is what rules politics. But and every politician is, let me say, every politician is a prospective bad person in quotes, because the game itself is not pure. The game itself has its own rules, underground rules, that is either you play or you get played. So, and that's why when a politician is shouting he has been cheated, it is because he's not in a position to also cheat others. I'm not saying 100% of the time,
Yes, yes,
but
yes.
majority,
That is the game. The game is the game.
yes.
But you said you kept saying politician, politician. I see these people are hidden in one behind one curtain that we cannot see. Are those politicians not part of us?
Of course, now, when I mean politician, I don't mean maybe the governor, the House of Rep. I mean the players. It does not mean only the people who are in elected positions or who are in appointed positions.
You see, thank you very much. I like the way you are taking this conversation. Like you're trying to balance things up. Have you heard about KRM?
Yes, I've seen it.
And most of the people that started the Otoge struggle are the one with the KRM. So do you think KRM will hold water in 2027?
I disagree when you say most. Me, I'll say
Okay, some of the people behind the loudest microphones.
okay. I will not still agree, but let's leave it at that. Maybe I will say a few.
Okay, few.
Of them, because many people who did Otoge are still in APC. Some, of course, of PDP. Some are in SDP, and a few are in KRM.
Some are in NNPP. Some people you forgot that we had.
No, Mr. Obaba is not back in APC.
Okay.
So I want to believe him and his group are back to APC. So that's why I didn't mention NNPP. So personally, I'm not involved in KRM and I don't know their aim and objectives.
Okay.
I don't know what they seek to achieve, but I just read about their activities online.
Okay. But the thing is this, you will agree with me that I don't want to be a judge to the governor's acts, but would you say that you agree that the governor locked some people out?
Of course.
And you like I like the way you painted it that maybe that is your style of governance, style of leadership, style of politics. But do you think that is good for a leader, even if that is kind of politics you want to play? Like all the people you want to have around you are the ones that say yes, sir, not the ones that say, sir, how about we do it this way? Because that's what it looks like.
I think I've said that earlier also. Personally, I'm not at home. I don't buy, I'm not that kind of a person. Maybe we do something together, achieve a common goal, then I believe everybody should be locked out of some people, majority of people, without cogent reasons. You understand? But as I said, the governor is a strange person. He hardly talks, but that does not mean he does not know what he is doing.
Well, exactly.
So because he has been consistent with his way of doing things, so which means it is a style, it's a strategy.
That's been working for him and he believes in it.
So,
but on the flip side of things here, as a current, do you think on the policy side, okay, let me make an assertion. For people like us that have the opportunity to go through, Western education and attain some degrees, see things from different worlds, I think the Otoge revolution was a success for all in Kwara. Whether you like it or not, even if you are in PDP, because it shows that the people still has power. If you're able to convince them, they can vote for you. That was what the Otoge struggle reminded us, because you will agree that everything revolved around one family back then. But it has been liberalized now. It's now everybody going on. Though some people are still complaining that it still revolve around the government, and then we can try and demystify that. But that is the political part. I 100% agree with the political ascension of the Otoge thing because it doesn't make any sense if somebody one name controls all. But on the governance and policy side, how do you feel do you think the governor will fly? Are you okay with everything that's going on? Don't forget that the governor has been doing a lot of infrastructure projects, but nobody can have it 100%. So why would you rate the governor in terms of governance and policy?
You've answered the question yourself. Nobody can have it all. But regardless, there will be successes and there will be failures. As much as people would love to demystify this hierarchy, yes, there were successes
Okay.
and there were failures.
Okay.
So regardless of how much you love the present administration or the level of hatred you also have for the person running it, there are successes and there are failures. It now depends on which end of the stick you want to hold on to. Do you want to see the success or you want to see the failures? Or you want to compare and contrast? Unfortunately, at this point, it may be too early to call. Because if you want to say, okay, there are more successes than failures, you have to be able to present verifiable data. If you want to say there are more failures than successes,
The government still has 2 years, not consider.
and as you said, it still has 2 years, there are some ongoing projects. But if you want to use the feelers on the streets, when we talk about emotions of people,
Okay.
the government is trying. Let me just put it that way.
About the emotion of the people. Okay, but there are some cogent things Otoge came to address. Things like there, there are some things Otoge came to address that I not, I mean, uh, what they call it, imposition, um, democracy, majorly at the lowest level, that is local government level. How are you happy with how the local government manage? I don't want to call it to get it out, but the current administration. Are you okay with the way it was managed? You know, we had to wait for more than over 4 years before we had the election.
It's an unfortunate thing actually, because all proponents of democracy agrees that one of the easiest way to get dependent democracy to people is through the local government. But it was quite unfortunate that that was taken away from people. And it's not only happening in Kwara, it's happening in many other places. And in places where elections people held, many people have adjudged it to not be free and fair. It's just like selection, intimidation, and just
Are you happy with the election, a local government election, where winners were announced with figures? Because whether you like it or not, you had your sweat, even if it's just a drop in the ocean, you had your sweat in what brought this government in. And for 4 years in the first time, there was no election, it was TIC. Things people like you have said is apart from being illegal, it is immoral, it is archaic, it is barbaric, it's not something. Like you said, people have to, the pillars should be felt at the lowest ebb of the community. But here we are. The government does not really like talking to anybody. But with that, are you okay? Like I don't want to do comparison and contrasting with all the states. But in our state, uh, how do you feel about that?
actually everybody knows I did not vote for the government for second time. I think I should repeat that. So whatever actions or inactions, I don't think I should account for it. But at the same time, as a concerned citizen, any logical and right thinking person would know that it is quite unfortunate. The election we had in many places during the local government election of the SHAN, especially in the long that I saw. Because I'm from a place that is the melting point between the East and the South. So I easily know what's happening in the West. I easily know what's happening
A lot of West yes, a lot of West is kind of idea.
Yes, my family house is at the last house in the East. So the next house is in the West. So it was a sham. Anyway, there were a lot of materials that we couldn't eat. There were some arrived late, or majority of the candidates they arrived very late. Some they got only 50 or 100 ballot papers. So you know it was already a calculated process.
Who calculated this? Was somebody afraid that the people would not vote for?
It showed at the end of the day because they lost in many places. By the end of the day, they had 100%.
We have the numbers.
I don't actually have the numbers.
Nobody has the numbers, even the Kwasi did not
Yes.
have the numbers. So you cannot ask for the numbers.
But they lost in many places in Kwara Center. I can't
Thank you very much for talking about the ones you saw. I
Yes.
think some other time I'll find some people that are from the other side of the state. But now, another thing, for you, for everybody, even if you're a politician, whether you're in power or not, even if you're not in power, you want to have the right information. Recently, the Freedom of Information Act was passed, and mind you, let me give you background. In 2019, I will blame the Saraki administration for this. The Freedom of Information Bill was passed in 2011. They were there 2012, they did not do anything. 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. To 2019, we got to know it was in the wee hour of their extension from office. Then they passed it. They were so much in a hurry that they forgot. They came so late that they forgot that before they could pass it to the governor, it would go to the hand of an amount and not. You know, I think the election was held in February. They still have like 3 months or 2 months to be in power. Within that 2 months, they could have passed it, but they did not pass it. Maybe I don't know.
They passed it, but the government did not accept.
No, they could have passed it to Fatah before he left
Yes.
because, but they did not pass. They wait till May.
And
So when the thing was passed, it went to Abdurrahman Abdulrazak. Then he took it back to the House of Assembly. I'm very much disappointed in the House of Assembly for this. Stepped this down for 4 years, and then when the Supreme Court's judgment came out that the FOI bill, the FOI Act is
binding.
binding on every subnational part of this country. Then you see that some states started running as a state, and my state included. And at the end of the day, we saw a new version of FOI bill, the one that is not different from what the norms that we've always had. As a person, don't you think, as an educated person, like don't you think we have the right to information? So we cannot do anything with information, just to read it. This is what is happening in my state. But somebody is saying that before you can have information, the governor, I don't mean Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak. The power is being confined on the governor. We don't know who the governor to know. That he does not accept it, comment in writing that I agree that give Issa Mutolib Ayobami an information about his state, where he was born, where he pays taxes. The governor must do it in writing. So if the governor does not like your face and does not feel like he doesn't, the act does not say the governor must write it. The governor has to. If he doesn't do that, there's no penalty for him. It is at his own discretion to agree, okay, give him. If he doesn't say anything, you are already denying. So how would like the struggles and the things you said were not good in that, like you disagree with them. How does that make you feel? Like you have some pillow talk with yourself and say, this thing's fine.
I think during the campaign of the second time campaign, there was a picture that he raised his hand like this.
We have
was
nothing to
write. Maybe we should ask him again. Do you really have something to write? But that's on a lighter note, like this. Every writing person, and even the NBA at the public hearing, they disagreed with that section. I think there were two obnoxious section as any sort you describe it.
Okay, let me give you. I was at the hearing. I followed it to the laptop. The federal FOI has 32 sections. The one that was coined by the Kwara State has 33. That section was important. It is not in the National Act. The section says that before you could be given, it said, not minding everything. If you have met all the requirements, but no matter what you have done, the governor has to consent in writing to your request. It is not in the federal act. It is just something that was imported here. Now, when we go to the public hearing, the representative from Ministry of Communication, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Communication was led by the commissioner. She was there. Ministry of Justice was led by the Director of Civil Litigation. The commissioner was not there. Representative from the Head of Service, Chief of Staff, not Chief of Staff, SSG, Radio Kwara, Kwara Broadcasting Corporation, Irad, and everything. All those ones that came from what we call the government side, they said they agree with the government. They said they had written statements, but they did not read it. All of them just said, okay, everything that we have written, it was submitted. I personally, I don't have access to. I did not have access to what he wrote. But Electude, NLC, PDP, MBA, all disagreed, even the members of the public, all disagreed with this thing, and they all had written statements. So, but the question that the speaker was asking on that day was, why were you afraid that the governor will not sign? Well, another question is, who has had so much access to the governor that will say, okay, well, another question is, why is it now that we have a Supreme Court judgment that the government now comes up with another thing? Okay, I think the people will say, so, and now you are limiting the right of everybody to the whims and caprices of just one person, the governor. It is not going to happen like that. By May 29, 2027, we will stop being the governor of the states.
I think this issue is simple as simple. Governance is a very difficult business. And
when you have something to add.
Yeah, of course, it's a very difficult business.
When you have something to add.
And when the governor is not saying every FOI request must come to his table, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound correct. Because I can decide to write as a taxpayer, my company pays tax. If I write today, you write, other people write. Will the governor be attending to 100 requests when there are other serious state business to attend to? Or will he delegate that power to who? So, but at the end of the day, I'm not there bothered about the past state FYB because it is an effort of utility. It will only result in a lot of court cases, and at the end of the day, it will be thrown out.
The Supreme Court will not contradict itself.
Yes, my elder brother has already said it. Because when there are two laws, definitely the supreme law of the land, which is the constitution and the federal law, will override any other law, be it state, local, or what have you. So today, if I want to request for information, I will just quote the federal FOI to request for information. So if you reject the information, we'll meet in court. And the court will decide.
We have quarters. People that go to court, the agency is there, they will still go to their courses.
So the law, as far as it's in contradiction to the federal law, it is already an inconsequential law.
Okay, but on the flip side of it, we cannot say the government has been like, we've had 2 bridges since the government came in. We have the renovation at the Kwara Hotel, we have International Conference Center, we have, I don't know if you've seen the new entrance of the Ayobami house. We have the tallest building in North Central Africa, that is the Revenue House. We now have the tallest flagpole in the whole of West Africa. We cannot say really that this government has not worked. Would you say that sometimes when you invite your friends to the state, when they come to the state, are you not proud when they see all those things? You can drag them around and say, come and see what's at the state.
The infrastructure of it has been so far so good. We need it and we need more infrastructure because these are things that will attract people, businesses, and investments to the state. So on infrastructural development, East Line is doing well in Kwara Central. And
In Kwara Center.
yes.
Why no Kwara Center?
Because I'm not from Kwara South, I'm not from Kwara North.
Have you been there recently to see whether he's doing something in Kwara North and Kwara Center? And these people are not shouting. They are not saying they've not seen the government's hand.
I know they've been shouting. This guy from Kwara North.
Kwara North.
Yes. They've been shouting. Recently, Sanusi Lafiagi deplored the state of the deplorable state of the roads in I think it's something. Yes. But you can't give up. But I think I've seen people talk about concentrating more in the states capital because not only in Kwara, it's everywhere. Most state capitals there's concentration of projects, and and that's because of development. But some of the hinterlands they are they are dispersed. So before you
Don't think we need a governor out of the central because well I'm Fatal, but let me tell you what the things he did. He did College of Sciences in is it Okende? Yes, in Okende. In Kwara South.
Well, I'm not sure.
Learning nursing. And then he did the name satellite campuses. The one in Initial Baraba and in OC.
Yes, campus, yes.
Those were.
Last week.
And then the big things he gave us is the diamond of the past. Don't you think we need more governors from outside?
You also took ID Tech, like I said.
We took IDT to check. Don't you think that to strike the balance, we need more governors from outside?
Anyway, I actually, as a person, okay, before I answer that, an average Kwara Southerner will tell you that they regretted
Big governor.
and some will say, some politicians will say he's an Ilorin candidate because he was posted on them for somebody from Ilorin. And today also we have somebody who is governor. So if another person from outside Ilorin comes as governor, we still didn't say is hosted on them by Ilorin. But regardless, there should be balance of power. Because when power is concentrated in a particular place, they say too much of power breeds complacency that you don't believe you can do. But in 2027, I am neutral on power rotation.
Power shift.
Because I'm a politician.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and as a politician, my interest is also very important. No, I'm not saying it's important. My interest is very important. My interest in Kwara North, my interest in Kwara South, my interest in Kwara Central.
But it is known to you. It's known to you. Don't you think Kwara Northern deserve to be?
Of course, they deserve the government, and everybody deserves.
Are you supporting Kwara North's agitation?
Then I said my interest will decide whether I will support.
So you have not decided now?
Of course, because we still have 2 years to go.
Politicians do not have 2 years.
Personally, I say, okay, maybe I don't have 2 years. When I know we have 2 years to go, 2 years to elections.
I understand, but politicians do not have 2 years. The calculation starts from the day the government, one person is sworn in.
And the calculators can change at any time.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
what has your calculation lead to now? Like, are you still in central or you have traveled to the south?
Today, my interest is no other person than Akinola Abigail, who fortunately is in Kwara Central.
It's not, you are not being regional, you're staying with the person that the interests are not.
Of course, and that is what the politician
But
does.
you're a very good friend of the speaker.
The speaker is my very good friend. So, and I'm not sure if he's interested. He has not declared if he's interested. But he has people who are projecting him.
Okay, you have seen people projecting him. Have you called your friend? Alright, I have seen people projecting you. Are you sure you have to say, what are you doing? Do an exam recent.
I've half of me is as my friend, so
Yeah, exactly. So I need to ask him. That's a very huge thing. That's the number one thing I say. You not ask your friend that, alright, you are interested in this thing.
I would try not to answer this question.
But another able to it is that in the current laws they have 5 local governments, and there's a local government that's been crying of.
My dear boy will never government.
So don't you think you have to advise the current governors to put their house in order before they come to all parts?
I don't think they actually need the advice. They know. Because evil must come, so equity must come with humans. And they have to address the large elephants in their home. They have to answer the Google question. If you want every other person to concede, because what the average parent wants is not actually, okay, let us log it out. They are appealing to our conscience.
Appealing?
Yes, I see it as an appeal.
Okay, that now I know where you stand.
They are appealing.
No, now I know where you stand.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Then you can see. They are appealing to our conscience, our sensibility that look, people have done this thing for a long time. Let us also do it. They are standing on the matter of equity, justice, inclusiveness, fairness. But if you are standing on this, you have to address the
But less than 2 years to the election, your interest is still in the same.
Yes, now.
So if Chimola Missioner decides to run again, you are going with him.
100%. That is not negotiable.
I think that's a very good place to leave it. Thank you very much, our viewers. That was Mr. Issa Ayobami Mutolib, popularly known as Megabyte. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank
We really do
you.
appreciate this. Thank you very much for your time. That's our program for today. I remember some of the countries I'm posting in. 2 have